All right, I know that we have some people still signing in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. It's going to be a pretty long night tonight. Welcome everybody to the Kechi City Council meeting. Today is Thursday, November 13th, 2025, and it's now 7 o'clock. Ben, can you please call roll?
Paul Dwyer.
Here.
Karen Anderson.
Here.
Kendra Baldridge.
Here.
Todd Hedgman.
Here.
Matt Brewer.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. If everyone could please stand for the pledge. Moving on to approving tonight's agenda. Council, any questions about tonight's agenda? I do know that we need an executive session. Matt, for how long do we think, or I guess Andrew?
Start
20? Any further questions, Council? All right, I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve the agenda as written with an executive session of 20 minutes.
I have a second. Second. I have a motion by Todd, second by Karen. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Moving on to approving the consent agenda. Council, any questions about tonight's consent agenda? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second. I have a motion by Matt, second by Kendra. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Moving on to the communication sections. Do we have any Kechi City groups or committees here to speak this evening? Seeing none. Move on to Kechi Good News. Matt, you said you had a Kechi Good News.
Yeah, I do. Ben, our front desk clerk, is here with us tonight. Debbie, who is usually here, and Chris are attending a banquet for Thomas Bevan tonight. So they were unable to be here, but Ben will be helping us out, taking minutes. So he may raise his hand at some point if he doesn't quite understand anything, but we'll help him through. We appreciate him being here.
That's great. We appreciate having you, Ben, and thank you for all you do. All right. Any other Kechi Good News? All right. Moving on to public comment. I do have the 5-minute timer up. I'm going to read it. It says, public wishing to address the council are asked to sign a public forum request form in the foyer, listing the topic along with your name, address, and phone number for the record. You are asked to limit your presentation to 5 minutes. Your comments or requests may be addressed at a future meeting. And I do have the 5 minutes up, so thanks.
Oh my God, Blaine Harris.
Mine's on the rezone. That's what I was talking about.
Sorry.
Okay.
Debbie Hart.
Deb. Debbie Hart, 531 Prairie Creek Drive.
So I'm going to talk about the ordinance change. I want to know why this came about all of a sudden. Whose idea was it? Why do you think it's necessary? If it was good enough for the previous mayors, whether it be Ed Parker, John Spear, Ashley, nothing should change. It's good enough for Joni. I don't understand who initiated this or why it was initiated, but I don't think it's a good idea. And I hope that each one of you listen to the people tonight. You were elected to represent us, not somebody else's desires, but us, the people, the residents of Kechi. It looks very sneaky and underhanded how this has come about. I don't think it was very forthright in coming forward. And that's kind of discouraging that it appears to be sneaky. That's just how I see it. So I am asking you guys to vote no on changing the ordinance.
rule about that, so please respect.
Betty Washington.
Good evening. Betty Washington. Oh, nobody said good evening. I am Betty Washington, 230 North Comanche Drive. I have lived in Kechi for 45 years and own a small business, Gino's Barbecue in Kechi, for 31 years. As a small business owner, I strongly encourage other businesses to come to Kechi. However, I believe the Kechi City Council should respect and uphold the recommendation made by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission has carefully researched the property located on the southeast corner of 61st and Albert, known as Kechi Corner, and recommended that it remain zoned as a C1. The owner has applied for a zoning change to C2, but I hope the council will follow the Planning Commission's recommendation and keep the property zoned as C1, allowing the owner to develop his business without a drive-through. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Karen Anderson.
Okay, Betty, I'm gonna try it. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here about the, administrative ordinance change. I gave my vote to the people who I thought would best represent me in those respective elected positions. And I'm very aware of the responsibilities that define those elected positions. So I'm questioning, just 1 week after the elections, why you have in front of you an administrative ordinance change. A change that changes the entire dynamic of the governing body, the checks and balances, so to speak. I also question what the current mayor did or didn't do, if she failed or if the job was too big. That doesn't warrant an ordinance change. That warrants voters voting in someone else into that position. The ordinance change takes away my representation in the decisions that are made, even though they're administrative related. Why is this necessary? As stated earlier, it's worked, I don't know when this ordinance was originated, but it's worked for all those years until all of a sudden we have issues and it's not working. We have a lot of disgruntled residents in our community, and having this change, I see that the structure power that would take place would have a very negative outflow or waves throughout the community. To have a superintendent to take over these responsibilities, isn't that another salary involved? Who does that person answer to? Who is responsibility of hiring that person? Is that you guys? That's more on top of you. The mayor-elect signed up knowing the responsibilities of the job, and I do believe that she's very capable of handling those jobs. So I see this change as being very unnecessary. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheryl Hobson.
Sure.
Cheryl Hobson, 622 North Shawnee Circle. Yeah, so I'm also talking about the administrative ordinance, or So 9 days ago, November 4th, the city, voted, and we chose a new direction. We voted a new mayor and a new council member. So I would like to go into the minutes that I am making a complaint of harassment of the mayor-elect to council, that the council is trying to change the duties of the mayor on the last council meeting prior to the mayor being sworn in. I'd also like to make another entry into the minutes that it is noted that the plans had to have been, most likely, had to have been already written up by legal prior to the election, because it's 9 days prior to the election. Also want to make it known that there needs to be an investigation by an independent party on this matter, and that due to the investigation being of the nature of harassment and the election, that there really shouldn't be any voting at all tonight. The council, the mayor, and the CA really should be suspended until the investigation is completed. It's really a shameful situation. And I thought that we were in a town that we could really trust the people that we voted. And I thought that we could trust the people that we had running our government. And I have to say that, I don't know, I don't feel that way today. And it's very sad. Thank you.
Catherine Baker.
Happen.
Catherine Baker. I live at 135 Foreman Avenue, and I've been here for 52 years. This was the first time that I voted in a city election, and I just found out about the ordinance change for the mayor, the new mayor, this evening. And I have to say that I'm a little disappointed that this has come up, and I think that it just doesn't seem right. And I thought only these things happen in big cities, but I realize that it's not. It happens in small cities too. And it seems backhanded that these duties of the new mayor are going to be taken away from her. And I believe that she can handle it, and I just think that it would be wrong to take away any of the duties that the former mayors have had, and you don't want her to have those duties. So that's the way I feel about it.
Rebecca Gaines.
Hi, Rebecca Gaines. This is the first time I've spoke. I'm at 481 East Cheyenne. I'm here as a concerned citizen. I was troubled and disappointed by the addition of the administrative ordinance. Just days after our community voted for new leadership, it appears someone was unhappy with the results. This is not transparency, it's administrative force. The timing and the lack of openness raise serious concerns about accountability and respect for the will of the voters. Attempting to change authority of a newly elected mayor is more than a procedural issue. It undermines public trust and disrespects the democratic process the citizens of Kechi just participated in. It's an insult to every voter who believed their voice matters. So I'm asking that the council really hears the citizens of Kechi. We deserve open and honest governance, not a hidden agenda. And I just ask that any proposal to change ordinance, that it is brought forth to the newly elected officials. And if it is truly what is best for Kechi, that it is tabled until the newly elected officials are on the council. So I just thank you for listening to us tonight and hearing everyone's concerns. I appreciate it.
Beth Arpin. Beth Arpin.
I'm Beth Arpin. I live at 327 Tomahawk, and I've lived in Kechi since 1990. I've never felt it necessary to come to a city council meeting until today. I feel the change in the ordinance is unnecessary, uncalled for, and inappropriate. The change has never been brought up before. As said in the previous statements, our mayors in the past have had these powers. I don't think we need to make those changes now. They need to be, if the changes need to be made, the new council and the new mayor need to make those changes. I would respectfully ask that you vote no, or you table it until the new council and the mayor are in power. This is so backhanded, so sour grape feeling to the community that voted. Our voices spoke. You guys were elected. You had your time in office. Now let the people who have been voted in have their time and their chance to make Kechi better. It's a great community. I've loved living here, and I don't want to see it become ran to the ground by people who think they need to be in control. Thank you.
Catherine Shuck.
My name is Catherine Shook. I live 327 West Cherokee Drive. I know all of you. I voted for most of you. And I've been trying to teach my kids about elections and votes. And I know nobody's gonna comment, but my kids have been approached by the mayor for a day. And this came up today, and I'm open with my kids. And they don't know who to like anymore. This isn't what I voted for. It's not teaching my kids the right way to vote. And then as soon as the vote's over, we're gonna change it so that the person that gets elected next doesn't have the same whatever as the person we voted for the last time. I can't add a lot more to that, but it's not what I voted for. And I don't wanna be here, and I didn't bring them tonight. It's the first council meeting I didn't want them to come to. And I'm not gonna show it to them on Facebook either. I can't do it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mary Buffalo.
Here.
I have a question. Are we speaking to both that we signed up for? Or is there a separate time?
You can, or you can speak.
You can speak to both now.
If it's on the zoning issue, you can speak at that time as well.
Okay, I will speak on the zoning issue later.
Joni Hicks.
She's
Oh,
still-
Mary's
Oh,
she's
sorry.
got two. Okay.
Sunnydale neighborhood. Right now, I'm speaking about the amendment. My question is, why is this being done 9 days after an election? You know, that reduces the responsibilities of the mayor, where the community just handed a decisive vote. There's 2 possible answers. It's been in the works for weeks. If so, then why didn't we hear about it before the election? The other answer is more disturbing. This was something cooked up to spring on a candidate that somebody didn't like to be in office. There's a new sheriff in town, and she brought her deputies tonight. Thank you.
Joni Harris.
Joni Harris, 109 West Chippewa Street. Gonna be just straightforward. Gonna be part of the Code of Ethics for the City of Kechi. Declaration of policy. The proper operation of our government requires that public officials and employees be independent, impartial, and responsible to the people. The governmental decisions and policies be made in the proper channels, and that the public have confidence in the integrity of its government. In recognition of these goals, there is hereby established a code of ethics for all officials and employees, whether elected or appointed, paid or unpaid. The purpose of this code is to establish ethical standards by setting forth those acts or actions that are incompatible with the best interests of the city. Responsibilities of public office. Public officials and employees are agents of public purpose and hold office for the benefit of the public. They are bound to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, to carry out impartially the laws of the nation, state, and city, and thus to foster respect for all government. They are bound to observe in their official acts the highest standards of morality and to discharge faithfully the duties of their office regardless of personal considerations, recognizing that the long-term public interest must be their primary concern. Their conduct in both their official and private affairs should be above reproach. On November 4th, 2025, the people of Kechi voted and a decisive election decision came forth regarding whom the people desired to be their next mayor. Our current mayor, the city council, and our city administrator have determined that I only desire to tear down Kechi when the opposite is true. Kechi needs new levels of communication, accountability, and transparency built upon our city's code of ethics. From my position, I would not recommend the updated city pay plan that's on the agenda tonight, nor ordinance 1864-25 be approved. No public discussion occurred prior to this meeting tonight on either one of those items. I have a question. Do you still represent the people of Kechi who elected you? It's sad that I needed to email a mayoral elect letter to each of you on this council who will continue to serve and lay out my plans to you, because none of you will have conversation with me. You don't know what I actually think, and perhaps I don't know totally what you think either. As mayor-elect, I sent an email to Thomas Bevan to schedule a ride-along and to Chief Moore requesting a current list of officers and their rank, because our city website is outdated. I received a reply from City Administrator Jensby informing me that I am only allowed to contact him, and that is the proper channel for me for communication. This is completely inappropriate and disrespectful to the new mayor-elect of Kechi. I have sent City Administrator Jensby a 5-page certified signature required letter to lay out my mayoral plans, as he does not communicate with me either. You have received a copy of this letter too. I have been accused of sharing misinformation, called divisive, and told my voice has no value to this council. I've shared legitimate concerns only to be told this council will decide if it's something that should be considered. It never has been. I want to work through hard things. I want to have tough conversations. It feels like Kechi is on the edge of losing its identity if you pass this ordinance tonight. I've had people tell me post-election that they have hope again because I was elected. Please do the right thing. Honor the will of the people and apologize to the people of Kechi publicly that you considered this action against their newly elected mayor. Thank you.
Angela, how to show?
that section though?
Did you want to speak during the
Are you
point?
wanting to speak about this or the ordinance?
The ordinance,
I mean,
later.
okay,
The
I
zoning-
meant
the
I mean the zoning.
Okay.
zoning, if you wanna do it
That'll
then,
be
later you want.
Rebecca,
Rebecca?
Oh, she's coming.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Lee. I've lived here since 1990. I live at 312 Kechi Court. I just have a few questions, and for myself, when I wrote these, it was, let's not jump to conclusions about what's going on here. Okay, so I read through this and I said, okay, I want to know, first of all, what items specifically of the administrative responsibilities are being changed. Okay, secondly, why are they being changed? Are they being deleted? Are they being modified? Or are they being more evenly distributed? The list between the city administrator and the mayor is a long list, and if you're going to do that job properly, there's a lot of time involved. I know we're not 24-hour politicians, so there's a lot of responsibility on each one of those. Number three, one of the duties we passed. Okay, someone who's willing to put Kechi first, Kechi's wellness first, the usefulness to the citizens of Kechi. Granted, Kechi changes. It's changed a lot since I've been here. I haven't been happy with everything. I'm still not happy with everything. I'm not happy with the country, to tell you quite honestly, but we're going to get through it one way or another. Hopefully it will be someone who has time to study and make some decisions based on the research rather than, sounds good, or just a gut feeling. And number four, do the amended duties responsibilities apply also to the current administration? And where do we start? And just as I'd like next time, just a little more time with the agenda for us to figure out what we need to go through. And I'm also disappointed from what was said earlier that we didn't have some kind of a public discussion. But granted, too many irons in the fire. So I hope you all don't vote tonight. I hope we take some time with this and do the best that we can for the people of Kechi.
Rebecca Conley Hartman, did you want to speak during the hearing or here?
I think you're on the zoning.
Oh, so, do you want the
Yeah,
mayor
we'll speak on the zoning
or
here in a little bit.
That's all I have.
Okay. Seeing no more public comment, we will close public comment for the evening and move on to item 7A, annexation ordinance 1859-25, Ritter.
Where's Dustin?
Dustin?
You lost him? Lance, are you gonna take this? The Ritter case? Yeah, you're up.
You, hi.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Lance Onstock, Professional Engineering Consultants, your on-call planning engineer. So providing some extra assistance to city staff tonight, so good to be back in front of you. So we're gonna run the full gamut basically of planning and zoning as it relates to development process within the city for this one piece of property. So first step is an annexation petition or an annexation ordinance for your consideration. The owner of approximately 20 acres at the southeast of 85th and Hillside has petitioned for annexation into the city limits. Currently, this 20 acres, the property owner also has an additional 20 acres adjacent to the west, or to the east, I'm sorry, that's actually within the city limits. So we'll talk more about his kind of plan and process going forward on these pieces of property. But first step required is to ask for you all to consider an ordinance annexing the property into the city. So I can answer any questions that you guys have on the annexation specifically.
approve annex ordination 1859-25 for Justin Ritter and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second?
I have a motion by Todd, second by Matt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Moving on to the resolution 25-796, electric provider. Right, that's not on page 3.
That is right. So step number 2. So
Okay.
state statute requires that every time we annex a piece of property into the city limits, that we consider it an ordinance or a resolution. Affirming, establishing the electric provider for that piece of property. So as Evergy is the sole provider within this jurisdiction, that is what is reflected in the resolution. Any questions? Myself or other staff are more than happy to help answer.
We've done this before, it's just a procedural thing that state law requires anytime a property is annexed, there's only one provider up there, and it's Evergy, so we just have to provide them notice.
I would entertain a motion, unless, council has questions.
No.
Right, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 25-796, providing notice of land annex to electricity service provider as required by KSA 66-1,176.
Second. I have a motion by Matt, second by Karen. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Now I get to read Matt's deal. I call agenda item 7C, a consideration of case number Z-2025-06, a request to allow property annexed by the city of Kechi to be zoned as Ag 1 agricultural district, zoning district. Before we proceed, would any member of city council wish to abstain from voting on this agenda item due to conflict of interest, bias, or any other reason?
No.
Seeing no, let the record show that there is no abstention and the quorum of 5 council members is present. As a reminder, a valid protest accounts for petitions from owners of 20% or more of the property being rezoned, or 20% or more of the property within the official notification area. Has the city clerk determined a valid protest in this case? Okay. The Planning Commission held the public hearing for this case on 10/14/2025. Has the council received a summary of the public hearing found in the unapproved meeting minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Does the council and everyone present on the case believe the public hearing was fair and impartial?
Yes.
Yes.
I will now call, are you doing it?
I'm doing
Okay.
it.
It says Justin, I wanna make sure. I will now call on Lance to present the case, report background information, and the planning commission's recommendation.
Thank you, Mayor. So, zoning ordinance within the city of Kechi stipulates that upon annexation, all property is automatically brought into the city at the R1 zoning district unless applied for a different zoning district. So, hence the reason why we're here. Now the annexation is done. The applicant has requested a different zoning district than the R1 zoning district, has requested the A1 agricultural district for this newly annexed piece of property. So again, this property is generally approximately 20 acres. The primary reason for the request in rezoning is that the R1 zoning district has a maximum lot size of 2 acres. As we'll see with the plat here in a second, this is going to exceed the maximum lot size. Hence the reason for the zoning request, to make sure that when building permits are applied for, that these lots that are going to be built on are conforming with our zoning regulations. The owner intends to plat this property, which again we'll see here in a minute, for 2 single-family homes. So again, this is only single-family uses, nothing else has been applied for. The Planning Commission recommended approval 5-0 at that after holding the public hearing on October 14th. There was public comment that was received during that public hearing. There was a request to, the desire to keep these properties in single family and at a low density was received at that public hearing. So staff and Planning Commission's findings of fact are included in your guys' agenda packet in the staff report. I won't cover those in detail. Happy to talk about any of those findings if you guys have any questions or concerns. With that, staff recommends adopting the Planning Commission's finding of fact and approving the ordinance rezoning Any questions specifically about the rezoning piece of this project, I'd be happy to answer.
No questions currently. Well, you took my next line. Does the council have any questions? Thank you. This is the applicant response. Does the applicant wish to present any new information for the council's consideration? Does the council have any questions for the applicant? Okay, no. Does anyone in the audience wish to respond to the applicant or provide any new information that was not made available during the official public hearing for this zoning case?
I would. I just wanted to make sure that you had kind of forgotten that when Mr. Ritter bought those properties, it was under a covenant of 20 acres per lot size, and I don't think you mentioned the covenant that it was bought under.
Thank you. Any further comment? Seeing none, we'll close final public input for this case. Council, now we will go through each of the recommendations so that you can provide input if necessary. For recommendations, item 1, the zoning use and character of the neighborhood. Agree, disagree, comments?
Agree.
Agreed.
2, conformance of the requested change to the adopted or recognized comprehensive plan and policies.
Agreed.
3, adequacy of public utilities, roadways, and other public service relative to the anticipated impacts of the proposed use.
Agreed.
The suitability of the subject property for the use to which it has been restricted.
Agreed.
Length of time property has remained vacant as zoned.
Agreed.
Extent to which removal of the restrictions will detrimentally affect nearby property. Conformance of the requested change to the adopted or recognized comprehensive plan and policies.
Agreed.
Impact of the proposed development on community facilities.
Agreed.
Public input.
Agreed.
Assuming all necessary information has been received, council has 3 options. Adopt the planning commission's recommendation of approval, override the planning commission's recommendation of approval with a 2/3 majority vote of the governing body membership, which is 4 votes, return the case to the planning commission for further consideration along with the statement reporting the basis of our failure to approve or deny. Does the council have any further questions or discussion?
None.
I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve rezoning ordinance 1860-25 for Justin Ritter and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second. I have a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation has been made by Councilmember Hedstrom and seconded by Councilmember Baldridge. Is there any final discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carries 5-0. Case number Z-2025-06 is approved, and the approval will become effective on the date ordinance. I don't have that ordinance number. Do you have that ordinance number? Just XXX.
Well, we missed that one.
This one, 1860-25.
Yeah, 1860-25.
Okay, 1860-25 is published in the Ark Valley News. All right, moving on to plating, Ritter edition. Hi, welcome back.
Again, last step on this one. So, as you guys are aware, before a building permit can be issued for improvements to a piece of property within the city, it must be legally subdivided or platted. So, the last step of this project to allow the property owner to secure those building permits and construct the house that he's intending to is to legally subdivide or plat it. So, the plat before you has been approved by your planning commission. So again, reminder of the steps we're taking tonight as a governing body as we're accepting the public dedications that are being set forth by virtue of this plat. The public dedications on this plat include additional right-of-way along 85th Street to bring it to the full standard that's required under our subdivision regulations, and then there's some additional easements to ensure that public utilities are available to serve those lots at such time that that's desired. So again, the planning commission has approved of the final plat. Staff have reviewed the final plat to make sure that it's in conformance with the zoning regulations, the zoning district that you all just approved via ordinance, and all other city policies. So with that, staff would recommend that the governing body accept the public dedication set forth on that plat. Once recorded with the Register of Deeds, they will be able to make application for building permits.
Any questions, council?
No.
I would entertain a motion.
So all we need on this motion is just a motion to approve.
That's right, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Matt, second by Karen. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Thank you. I have 113 papers up here tonight, so I'm actively trying to figure out where the next thing starts.
So it should be rezoning ordinance 1861-25.
That doesn't help me. These are all weird. So.
Maybe that's my copy. I can just use that.
I call item number 7E, a consideration of case number Z-2025-05, a request to allow rezoning of property to the R1 single-family residential district on the property in the C2 local commercial zoning district. Before we proceed, would any member of the city council wish to abstain from voting on this agenda item due to conflict of interest, bias, or any other reason?
No.
Seeing none, let the record show that there is no abstentions and that a quorum of 5 council members is present. As a reminder, a valid protest accounts for the petitions from the owners of 20% or more of the property being rezoned, or 20% or more of the property within the official notification area. Has the city clerk determined a valid protest for this case? Seeing none, the planning commission held the public hearing for this case on 10/14/25. Has the council received a summary of the public hearing found in the unapproved meeting minutes?
Yes.
Does the council and everyone present on the case believe the public hearing was fair and impartial? I will now call on the zoning administrator, Dustin Belton, to present the case report, background information, and the planning commission's recommendation. Dustin.
Thank you. With this case here and the two following, I'm going to give a brief synopsis, so I'm not going to go through everything. On October 14th, the Planning Commission did vote, recommend approval of 5-0 on the rezone from C2 to R1. The property owner is requesting a zone change from C2 to R1. The property owner has plans to do some remodeling inside the building to allow his mother-in-law to live there. In 10-15 years, the property owner would like to rezone the property to either C1 or C2, depending on their needs. Recommendation is based upon information prior to public hearing. Planning staff recommends that the request be approved. And for reference, it is across the street. It's the old junk in the trunk that the person has bought and would like their mother-in-law to live in. We've got an aerial map, zoning showing that it is C2 surrounded by R1. Showing the area as good as arts and business district, but it matches the area of R1 on the surrounding properties. And then site photos, we've got City Hall, place of worship, another place of worship, and back of the business, or excuse me, well, right now it's kind of a business, and then to the east.
Does the council have any questions for the zoning administrator?
Oh, I apologize. One more thing. The property owner did go around to adjacent property owners and got a support signature from several different property owners around showing that they are okay with it being zoned as R1.
Now, does the council have any questions for the zoning administrator?
Dustin, this is more for the planning commission, but why, if the intent is in the future to go to C1 and housing is allowed in C1, why was the change not just made to C1?
There's a couple variables on that. One, it matches the area that's already R1. I explained to them that it would probably be easier to go to R1 since that's their intent of it, is just a residential area right now. Instead of going to C1, which it would be, you know, the lone wolf out there all by itself surrounded by R1 uses.
It said their future intent was to go with C1, so.
Yes. Yeah. C1 or C2.
Any further questions for Dustin? All right. Thank you, Dustin. Does the applicant wish to present any new information for the council's consideration? Does the council have any questions for the applicant? Does anyone in the audience wish to respond to the applicant or provide any new information that was not made available during the official public hearing? We will close the public hearing. We'll now go through the recommendations as we did the other. Item 1, the zoning use and character of the neighborhood. Agree, disagree?
Agree.
Conformance of the requested change to the adopted or recognized comprehensive plan and policies.
Agree.
Adequacy of public utilities, roadways, and other public services relative to the anticipated impacts of the proposed use.
Agree.
Suitability of the subject property for the use to which it's being restricted.
Agree.
Length of time property has remained vacant as zoned.
Agree.
Extent to which removal of the restrictions will detrimentally affect nearby property. Performance of the requested changes to the adopted or recognized comprehensive plan and policies. Impact of the proposed development on community facilities. Public input. Assuming all necessary information has been received, council has 3 options. Adopt the planning commission's recommendation of approval, override the planning commission's recommendation of approval with a 2/3 majority vote of the governing body membership, which is 4 votes. Return the case to the planning commission for further consideration, along with the statement reporting the basis of our failure to approve or deny. Does council have any further questions or discussion? I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the rezoning ordinance 1861-25 for Phil Ward and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
I have a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation has been made by Councilmember Baldrige and seconded by Councilmember Hedstrom. Is there any final discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Carries 5-0. Case number Z-2025-05 is approved. The approval will become effective on the date ordinance number 1861-25 is published in the Ark Valley News. Conditional, so we're on 7F, conditional use ordinance 1862-25. I'm looking for the papers, so I'm getting, it's just all out of paper to my head. I call agenda item 7F a consideration of case number Z-2025-07, a request to allow rezoning a property to the C2 local commercial district on property in the C1 Arts and Business District zoning district. Before we proceed, would any member of the City Council wish to abstain from voting on this agenda item due to conflict of interest, bias, or any other reason?
Mayor?
Yes.
I believe you skipped one.
Yeah.
Additional use.
And this is why. Do you have the, does somebody have 18:16:45? Let me find the proper speech.
Mayor Dustin's gonna pull that up for you.
It's gonna be CU 2025-02.
Dash 02 or 05?
02.
You have the staff report?
Yes, that I do have, it's just I didn't have the speech thing. It's on the screen, yeah. Of course, that's,
Is yours the only one down?
yeah, of course it is. It's fine. I call agenda item 7F. Consideration of case number CU-2025-02, a request to allow an that is, I can't see it now.
Oh, I didn't realize you were reading from mine, I'm sorry.
Yes. Detached garage on the property in A1 Agricultural District zoning district. Before we proceed, would any member of the city council wish to abstain from voting on this agenda item due to conflict of interest, bias, or any other reason? Yes. Let the record show that there is no abstentions and that a quorum of 5 council members is present. As a reminder, a valid protest accounts for petitions from owners of 20% or more of the property being rezoned, or 20% or more of the property within the official notification area. Does the city clerk determine a valid protest for this case?
No.
The planning commission held the public hearing for this case on, is it as well 10/14/25. Has the council received a summary of the public hearing found in the unapproved meeting minutes?
Yes.
Yes. Does the council and everyone present on the case believe the public hearing was fair and impartial?
Yes.
I will now call on the zoning administrator, Justin Belton, to present the case report, background information, and the planning commission's recommendation.
All right, thank you. CU 2025, Chris Will Height. On October 14th, Planning Commission did approve, vote to approve. The applicant is requesting a conditional use to construct a detached garage that exceeds maximum gross floor area. The applicant wants to store his equipment, antique fire truck, pickup truck, and tools. The property is generally located 263 feet west of hydraulic on the south side of Sunnydale Lake Circle. The applicant is planning on the detached garage to be 40 by 60 feet, or 2,400 square feet, which is 1,150 square feet over the maximum permitted by section 10.31 of the zoning regulations. Based upon information available prior to the public hearings, planning staff recommends that the request be approved, subject to the following conditions. The applicant and/or contractor shall submit a building permit and provide engineered design plans. The detached garage must comply with specific use standards of section 10.31. Development and maintenance of the site shall be in conformance with the approved site plan. No hazardous waste or materials shall be stored in excess of regular household use in the detached garage. And 5, the zoning administrator finds that there is a violation of any of the conditions. The zoning administrator may declare that the conditional use is null and void. We go down and we have an aerial view of the property. This this nice little pizza slice, showing the areas as A1. Up here, good for housing. And then a quick site plan showing that it's going to be 30 feet back and 20 feet away from the property line to the west.
Does the council have any questions for the zoning administrator? Does the applicant wish to present any new information for the council's consideration? Seeing none, does the council have any questions for the applicant? Does anyone in the audience wish to respond to the applicant or provide any new information that was not made available during the official public hearing? Go through each of the things. Recommendations. The zoning, item 1, the zoning use and character of the neighborhood.
Agreed.
Consistency with the comprehensive plan, vision, and character of the city of Kechi. Adequacy of the public utilities, roadways, and other public services relative to the anticipated impacts of the proposed use. The suitability of the subject property for the uses to which it has been restricted. Length of time property has remained vacant as zoned. Compatibility of the proposed district classifications with the nearby properties. Extent to which removal of the restrictions will detrimentally affect nearby property. Proportionality of loss, impact, or individual property owners in the immediate vicinity relative to the net public gain for the community at large. Public input. Assuming all necessary information has been received, council has 3 options. Adopt the planning commission's recommendation of approval. Override the planning commission's recommendation of approval with a 2/3 majority vote of the governing body membership, which is 4 votes. Return the case to the planning commission for further consideration along with the statement supporting the basis of our failure to approve or deny. Does council have any further questions?
No.
I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve the conditional use ordinance 1862-25 for Chris Wilhite and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
I have a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation. Has been made by Councilmember Hedstrom and seconded by Councilmember Brewer. Is there any final discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, I know we've been going for an hour, so, and I'm completely, all my papers are messed up. Would this be potentially a good time for like a 5-minute recess, because we're gonna go for at least another hour or so?
Yep.
So, council, I'm asking if you potentially entertain a recess for 5 minutes. Is 5 enough?
I'll make a motion to recess for 5 minutes.
Second.
I have a motion, we need a time, Andrew, to be back for, is 5 minutes?
5 minutes is good.
Okay. I have who made the motion, I'm sorry. I have a motion by Matt, second by Karen, all in favor say aye. Aye. Carries 5-0, we are in recess for 5 minutes.
over there, Mark. Sure. I'll enter that. My son's got one pickup next hopefully we can get rid of some. My wife can pay for it. Definitely can pay it. I ain't gonna park for it. I think it's pretty good. Park it till I
Between your place and
All right, we are back. Alright, we are back. I call agenda item 7G. A consideration of case number Z-2025-07. A request to allow rezoning of property to C2 local commercial district on property in the C1 Arts and Business District zoning district. Before we proceed, would any member of City Council wish to abstain from voting on this agenda item due to conflict of interest, bias, or any other reason? Let the record show that there is no abstentions and that a quorum of 5 council members is present. As a reminder, a valid protest accounts for petitions from the owners of 20% or more of the property being rezoned, or 20% or more of the property within the official notification area. Has the city clerk determined a valid protest for this case?
No.
The Planning Commission held the public hearing for this case on 10/14/25. Has the council received a summary of the public hearing found in the unapproved meeting minutes?
Yes.
Does the council and everyone present on the case believe the public hearing was fair and impartial?
Yes.
I will now call on zoning administrator Dustin Belton to present case report, background information, and the Planning Commission's recommendation. Dustin.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Let me get over to it. I apologize. Let's see here. All right, Z-2025-07. A request to rezone from C1 to C2. The property owner is requesting a zone change from C1 to C2, local commercial district. The property owner has plans to build a multi-tenant strip center, approximately 5,025 square feet, with one suite having a drive-through for a coffee shop. C1 Arts and Business District prohibits drive-throughs, while C2 allows them. The applicant will plat the property later after all cases are approved. The case history for here, there's one case to be heard by the BZA, the Board of Zoning Appeals. The property is approximately half an acre, undeveloped and unplatted. The Board of Zoning Appeals tabled the case to see what City Council voted on for tonight on this case. Want to remind, for conformance to plans and policies, flexibility is the key here. There are many pieces to the puzzle to make the Arts and Business District work. as well as the development of the entire planning area. Recommendation, based upon information before the public hearing, planning staff recommends that the request be approved by overriding planning commission recommendation of denial, subject to the following conditions. The property be limited to C1 Arts and Business District uses only, except for limited service restaurant and drive-through restaurant window. The reason for that is limited service restaurant and drive-through restaurant are not allowed in C1. Having the property zoned as C2, but only uses of C1 covers everybody's concerns that there might be a laundromat, a medical center, or a vet clinic there, among some other things like a bail bonds or office supply stores. This keeps it in the spirit of C1, while still allowing the function that the property owner is requesting. Along with it, there is the visual buffer that is required along the south and the east side of the property. We're asking that the developer put up a fence, a privacy fence of about 6 to 8 feet. We're probably going to change that to 6 feet, just to make sure that the property on the south and on the east are screened very well. Property map showing that the current zoning of C1 around the current property, showing that it is in the Arts and Business District. Site photos and a site plan showing the building where location that they want it. The drive-through would come around on the west side to the south and then pull back out onto the north to Kechi Road.
Mayor and council, could I add to this that this recommendation comes from much discussion between, specifically today, between myself, the city attorney, the engineer for the project, and Dustin, to try to make sure that we could meet the needs of the planning commission and their recommendation and concerns that they wanted this to say a C1 district, and the needs of the developer for this property to move forward with development. And we tried our best to keep it within C1. The only way we could do that is to revise the zoning code to put an exception in C1, but that's not a practice that we want to get into when there's a one-off thing that comes up that we're just going to change the code. Why do we have a zoning code if we're just going to continue to change it? So this recommendation comes with keeping in mind that we want to maintain that C1 as close as possible as we can, but still meet the needs of the developer. So we've had many conversations on this, and this was the only solution we could come to aside from amending that ordinance, the zoning code. Did you want to add anything?
Thank you. Does the applicant wish to present any new information for the council's consideration? Hello.
Hi, I'm Kirk Miller, Keaton Miller Engineering. We agree with what the administrator said. I'd be glad to try to answer any questions you have, but I think we had the zoning meeting, and we understand the intent. We're trying to follow the intent of the C1 zoning.
Some of those things additionally that we discussed, and Mr. Miller assured me that he would make sure is lighting in the area, so lights in that area did not disturb residential neighborhoods. He said they would use directional lighting if it would be an issue. We talked about the noise from the potential drive-through and any speakers that may be involved. He said they could provide options and work with us on that. We talked about barriers or screenings between adjacent properties. Of course, one of the conditions of this is to have a wooden fence to absorb some of that noise that would be at least 6 foot high on the south side, and part partially on the east side, other than by the road where it would have to step down to 4 foot for sight distances for people turning onto 61st Street. And we also spoke of hours of operation, and we don't have a good answer for hours of operation because they don't know what type of businesses are going to go in there. Their goal is to have commercial type businesses in there, office space, which would normally be 8 to 5, 9 to 6, and on the end, a drive-through coffee shop or ice cream or some type of food service there. And you would not expect that something like that would be any later than 8 o'clock at night.
You wouldn't think so, no.
Does the council have any questions for the applicant?
Was there any discussion on traffic flow?
There was discussion, not in this meeting, but down the road a little bit in the past. There was a drive when 61st Street was constructed. There was a drive put in specifically for that property. Originally, the developer wanted an exit out onto Oliver. We met with our engineers and they said it just would not be safe to have an exit out onto Oliver. So that is why we just maintained that one entrance exit off of 61st Street. We don't have any current traffic counts. We just met with our engineers this week. Todd and I met with them and we did talk about traffic counts. They're going to try to find traffic counts, not just for that location, but other locations around town. And if we don't have any, we will get some. But traffic was a concern, and that's why we limited it to 61st Street and not exceed onto Oliver.
And the explanation for that is because it's too close to the intersection.
Correct.
Any further questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone in the audience wish to respond to the applicant or provide any new information that is not made available during the official public hearing?
Would like to say something.
Yes. If you haven't signed it or up again for this topic, please fill a form and hand it to Ben. We'll go in order from which we've received them. Ben.
You have Connie Arkin?
Okay, Conley, and so it'll be 5 minutes. And I do have this timer up. Hi, Conley.
Hi, I'm Conley Arpin. I live at 137th Kechi Road, so just kind of adjacent to that property. I'm here to speak in opposition to the rezone. I believe it would have a negative impact on the business district and the surrounding homes. In my opinion, I think it would set a precedent for future car-centric businesses. So there'd just be a lot more car traffic through. I'm not opposed to commercial businesses in Kechi at all, but I do think they would be more appropriate in like the Turtle Creek area. I also am here on behalf of the neighbor to the south. I'm very grateful to the members of our community who previously spoke on my behalf when a liquor store was proposed across the street from my home. And so I feel it's important to show up and offer my voice for him. He's worked very hard to maintain his beautiful and historic property, and I can understand why he would not want a drive-through coffee shop as his view from his bedroom. So my hope is that in planning for future growth, we don't lose sight or stop listening to our neighbors who are already investing in building their lives here.
Angela and Justin have a show?
Sitting in the room, well, I'll start with, my name's Angela Hadashell, and I'm at 302 Crooked Drive, and we are multiple property owners in the city. But while I'm standing back there, it says, and here too, it says, what is best for Kechi? I'm I'm starting to question that for the first time in the 29 years that I have been here, that this direction has just not become what the reason that I moved here for. I moved here as a young person. I know what it's like. I remember that day. I feel like it was just yesterday, but all these years later, and I've raised a kid here and felt safe with my kid running around here, but I'm seeing things and realizing that the value of my houses and the properties that we've been buying may not be there the next time I turn around, and that the green space that we've enjoyed is going to be gone, and that the fact that we're trying to put a square peg in a circle. Why are we doing that around here? We have plenty of area and land that we can put things where they need to be. A liquor store came in here throughout my time that I've been here, went and gone. They couldn't support it. We couldn't support this. There's not enough demand for this town. And then also, we have supply coming for coffee shops. We have coffee shops at the gas station. We have coffee coming to the new strip center over there. Why do we need another one? And our property is adjacent to this property. We're right to the east of it. It's right on our property line. It's going to go all the way to our property line. So our renter, whoever we have in that place, is going to have to sit and listen to the speaker, the loudspeaker, the cars coming and going. And if you haven't ever tried to back out on 61st Street, it's already hard enough, especially in the morning and in the afternoon. I sat there the other day for 5 minutes trying to get out. And so I'm thinking, oh, great, this is going to be more traffic right next to our driveway coming in and out of here. And the chances of having an accident and the irritated people that I've already seen over 29 years, how many people can't even follow a four-way stop, and thinking that this is just sounds like we're just really trying to force something that shouldn't even be here. And if you don't live here and you don't spend a lot of time here, then maybe you need to see what it's like at those times. And that's the last thing we need. And then my spouse has a snow business, and we know that when the drive-thrus come through, we snow plowed from Wendy's. They got to be opened up early in the morning. When do they plow snow? 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, great. That's really going to be nice for all the people that live right around here. You know, so this is just really frustrating to see that this is what the community that I moved here for, the family community. And I loved coming here when I first moved here and going to all the little shops. I had friends that would come in town from Kansas City and Lawrence, Topeka, just to come and go through our little stores with us. And we spend the day. I have friends who bring family members, and they have little girls' days, and they come here to Kechi and go through all the shops and spend time here. But why are we wanting to repeat things, and then also to hurt the property value around us, and to throw something in that doesn't fit in this area? You know, to put all this traffic right there in that four-way, all you're going to do is send all the people outside of Kechi, because they're already happy, or not happy when they come in and there's a lot of wait to get to work, because that's what we are. We're a commuter town, and they're coming through here commuting. They're not stopping to eat breakfast and that kind of stuff on very many occasions, because they're on their way to work and stuff. So all we're doing, I think, is just gumming up what we already have a little issue with. We didn't put any turn lanes in. There's no room for that. So if the community is growing as it is, and we have all these extra people coming in and more traffic coming in, and we don't even know what this little store or strip mall that's already going in is going to bring in. I mean, to do something like this to me just sounds, you know, like nobody cares about our property next door. And we're zone C1 too, and I have thought about a lot of neat businesses to put in too, so I understand that side. We're entrepreneurs too. And so to think that I would do this to my own town just kind of blows my mind, that somebody would think that. Is somebody going to go to the house? Okay, so I saw where somebody said, oh, no, any businesses that helps our property taxes grow. Well, that person lives on the corner of the park. Well, let's go to his neighbor house and build a little store, a gas station with a drive-through, coffee shop, or whatever, right there next to him, and see how he likes it. There's not one person that lives in this community that wants that right next to their house. So if we ever went to sell, what's that going to do to our property value? You know, it's going to really be negative impact. And just, like I say, and the person that lives behind there, I can't even imagine. I went over to his backyard the other day and thought, wow, he's got this great backyard,
And it's not a lot of space, it's just a little bit of space from the property line. And this place is gonna take up all that space to the very end.
Unfortunately, your time is up.
Okay.
And for fairness for others, we have to move on. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
I'll move on, but I hope you listen to and look at what that sign says.
So we just, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm Justin Pottersville. I own the property at 129 Kechi Road. It's to the east. I do agree about where the entry and exit would be for the proposed development. It's very close to my drive, and it's already sticky to get in and out of my property. I'm also concerned that he's building a 5,000 square foot building. It's going to take up the entire amount of his property to do what he needs. So that's going to come right up to, I mean, it'll be 10 feet away from my drive, 15 feet away from my drive, going into the house, and I don't particularly want to have a big commercial retail type thing that close to my property. I also, there's a lot of unknowns, like we don't know for sure what's going to go in. It's very much up in the air. It could progress as time goes on. I mean, it could start off like a coffee shop. It could wind up being a weed dispensary for all I know. I mean, it could go to do anywhere. Really, we don't know. And I've been in this gentleman's house to the south. It's very, very nice. He spent a lot of pride and did spend a lot of time making it really nice. I can understand why he wouldn't want to have somebody come and put a drive-through right where his bedroom is. There's trying to think, I had another point to make. I don't know about the fencing either. I mean, to me, a 6-foot wood fence isn't really much of a privacy shield for that type of a situation where there's going to be a drive-through window. I know they can do pretty well with their speakers and stuff now, but I mean, it's very quiet. If you go over to my house right now, it's very quiet over there. Once the rush hour traffic and stuff slows down, you go over there, you hear the crickets just like you can anywhere else in town. But if there's a business right there, that changes things. That's pretty much my point. Thank you. Thank you.
Mary Buffalo.
Hi, I'm Mary Buffa, 2525 East 93rd Street, North Sunningdale neighborhood. And I'm also a member of the Kechi Arts Council, a founding member of the Kechi Farmers Market, and a regular vendor there. I also own the property just a stone's throw from this corner. If you were to poll residents and visitors from our Kechi area and surrounding areas and ask them where or what is the one defining spot in Kechi, 90% would identify something about this intersection that we're discussing tonight. The heart of the Arts and Business District, historic Kechi Playhouse, which this whole community rallied around saving and renovating. And then the national and international crown jewel of our Arts and Business District, Carg Art Glass. You don't even have to go inside these buildings to see the artistic impact of both of these buildings. They are the loudly beating heart of Kechi's Art and Business District. So let's talk about this very vague plan you're considering abandoning the C1 and long-term plan for. It is to be a very large, nondescript metal building, too large for the lot size. With all of the special asks, the drive-through will be approximately 12 feet from a home. It has only one access point on the city's busiest intersection. I own a home a stone's throw, so I am very well aware of how busy the intersection gets, especially in the evening traffic. Let's look at the footprint. There is not enough room for many cars, and Kechi regulations
say a building this size should have 25 spots. They want you to cut that down to 16 spots. Where are all the potential employees going to park? Oh, on a 500 square foot building, there's a potential for 5 nice-sized shops in it. Let's say there's 2 employees in each shop. That's 10 of your 16 spaces right there. And those 7 spots in front, those belong to us, the community. They were paid for and belong to the community for their use. I'd like to, now let's talk about, PEC. We have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with this company to give us a long-term plan. They sold us the Arts and Business District. We paid for the plan. We bought into the plan. Are they still working for us? I mean, this is not part of the plan. Okay, number of shops unknown. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but it is not a coffee shop that's going in here, because Moxie's is coming in at Turtle Creek. No one's going to suggest to the buyer that he can compete with a place like Moxie's, which is a coffee shop and bakery. A restaurant? Nope. There's not enough parking there for a restaurant. I predict that you are getting ready to sell out our long-term plan, the surrounding neighbors, and the C1 zoning for a drive-through liquor store. 2 final comments. Once you grant C2 zoning, you can't stop that prediction. And 2, you're opening yourselves up for, and the city, for a discrimination lawsuit. Do you remember Carlos? The owner of Valley Floral and the empty lots south of the greenhouses. He came here face to face and honestly laid out his plan for a 5,000 square foot metal building for a liquor store, ice cream shop, maybe floral stuff. His property is larger and it's butted up to his own property with other neighbors on each side. It too, metal building plans. Let's see, Carlos has been a business acquaintance of mine for about 2 decades. I and many residents spoke against his plan, as we're here to do tonight for this plan. If that building turns out to be exactly what I predicted, you will not be able to plead ignorance, and you will probably not be able to stop the city from having a lawsuit. Now, I know this is the last council meeting for the outgoing administration. There is a desire to do something significant. I get that. Whatever you do tonight, I assure you, it's going to be significant. It's just whether it's going to be for the good or for the bad. It's all on your shoulders now. Thank you.
Kenny Odie.
First off, I'd like to thank everyone for being here. It means a lot. Kechi has been an open door since I've moved here. I'd come to City Hall and they'd show me around. I might be biased. I had the house that's south of there. They've taken down the drawing, but that entire property line is my house. So my bedroom, my office, my kitchen, my backyard, my grill. I love that place. I love the community, and it's just become really disheartening. The last 3 weeks I've been going door to door, neighbor to neighbor, to express my feelings, and they're here. They're here for me in solidarity. That lot's been sitting there for 20 years. 20 years it's been vacant. It's been owned by Buck Abbey. Buck developed Northwoods. He's a developer and a builder. Buck knew what belongs and what does not belong on that lot. And that's why it has, it's said. The property owner is his neighbor. This property was sold privately amongst neighbors, and now this guy's doing what he wants with it.
questions. I just feel like it's gonna be somewhat of a danger. I feel like you build a 145-foot long building that's God knows how tall. I haven't heard the height. I don't know if there's heights on it. I know they talked about a 6-foot tall fence, but 145-foot long building. I feel like that's gonna be, it's gonna impair your vision. So that the traffic that's normally coming and going, you can see cars. You put a 145-foot long building there, you're not gonna see this car, or somebody's gonna run a stop sign, it's gonna be a bad deal. 6-foot tall fence, 145-foot long building. What's that gonna block? You know, it's not gonna block anything. You're gonna see the whole damn building. Stormwater. That whole place is gonna be concrete and a building. And I've looked up some figures. It's a, 5,000 square foot building, and 1 inch of rain generates 3,200 gallons. Last spring we had a rain that was 6 inches. So that's 20,000 gallons of water. Where's that water gonna go?
Yeah.
Is he gonna have curbs? Is he gonna connect it to stormwater drains? Is it going underground? Last I heard, it's gonna disperse into the road. So you get a substantial rain, all that water's going straight in the street. It's gonna be a bad deal. Where's the water gonna go? Same with the snow. The snowstorm. Where are they gonna push the snow? They're trying to encroach on all easements around the property, and there's nowhere to put snow. There's no strip of land wide enough to push a bank of snow from one end of the building to the other. So where are they gonna truck it off somewhere? And it's not gonna happen. It's gonna be a bad deal. Trash. There's a commercial dumpster in the back corner of Angela and Justin's property along with mine. And 52 times a year that thing at 3 o'clock in the morning is gonna get dumped. It's gonna be bam, right to the ground. Everybody's up. Not to mention it bottlenecks right there. So on that edge of the building, it goes from 23 feet down to 12. So there's gonna be a trash truck that has to get back in there somehow in the middle of the damn night, and he's gonna dump it. And I just don't know, it's not gonna come with ease. I'm concerned about, what if there's an emergency? What if somebody has a stroke or heart attack, something like that? It's a 1 entrance, 1 exit building. How are they supposed to get in? Your suppliers, say it becomes a restaurant or a liquor store or whatever. These people have big trucks. Where's that truck gonna park? Where's that truck gonna unload its goods to get to there? Are they gonna park in those, diagonal parking spots? If there's a fire of some sort with a vehicle, and they're back behind that building and they're next to my fence in my home, got a 6-foot tall wood fence that's on fire and it's coming towards my house. I'm concerned. Parking. Parking it's insane to me that it's supposed to be 1 spot per 200 square feet. You got a 5,000 square foot building that's 25 spots. And they're claiming they have 16, there's 7 on the street. That's still not enough, even if they're stealing those.
Unfortunately, I have to stop you since we've reached time for fairness of everyone.
Yeah, that's fair.
Thank you.
I got done. Thank you.
Blaine Harris.
Thanks.
Blaine Harris, 109 West Chippewa Street. I'm here on behalf of Richard Wolf. He asked that this email that he sent to all of you be read in public here, so I want to read that. He wasn't sure if you all got it or not. What? Okay. He said anyway, I will read it. Based upon the findings of facts that are recorded on video at the public hearing held on October 14th, the Kechi Planning Commission is recommending that the City Council deny the request for a change from C1 to C2 Commercial District for the property located at the southeast corner of 61st Street and Oliver. Since we have not seen or approved the minutes from the public hearing, I thought it was appropriate for me to communicate the reason for this recommendation. The applicant has requested the zoning change from C1 to C2 because C1 does not allow a drive-through that the applicant would like to have in his development. This property is in the very heart of the C1 Arts and Business District. The Planning Commission, by a vote of 4-1, and based upon the finding of facts, determined that the property should remain Zone C1, which defines what is desired in the Arts and Business District. If the city does not feel that a drive-through should be allowed in C1, then the zoning regulation should be changed to reflect that. Changing a property to another zoning in the Arts and Business District will invite unwanted businesses where they are not desired. As an example, if the corner lot was changed to C2 and sold, someone could install a laundromat or storage facility without asking. These two example uses, among others, defined in C2 zoning regulations, were not originally deemed appropriate for C1. When the city did the strategic plan and then updated the comprehensive plan and finally updated the zoning regulations based upon these first two updated documents, the Planning Commission tried to include everything the city would want in the Arts and Business District at a public hearing. This is not the first time that someone found something else that possibly should be allowed in C1, and I'm sure that there may be others that may need to be allowed in the future. Therefore, the Planning Commission voted to recommend that the property remain C1 and the regulations updated to reflect what is desired in C1 as appropriate. I wanted to attend the council meeting, but due to a medical procedure scheduled on the same day, was unable to attend. Since my email is being sent the day before the council meeting, I would appreciate someone share this email at the meeting, which, yes, that I do. Thank you, Richard Wolf, Chair of the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Debbie Hart?
Debbie Hart, Prairie Creek Drive. I have lived here for 25 years. That's quite a chunk of my life. I'm asking you, please do not rezone this lot. The space is too small for a drive-through, which would be allowed if you do the rezoning. The houses that connect to this property deserve their privacy, peace, and quiet, not listening to people ordering their food or their coffee. The traffic that this would create, that area cannot accommodate that. It does not allow for parking, the appropriate amount of parking. This just sounds like a big concrete pad with a metal building stuck on it. Quite an eyesore, honestly. Where's the beauty gonna be coming in? Where's the greenery, the trees? There's not gonna be enough room for any of that. It does not follow with the idea of the Arts and Business District. This does not fit into that area. I'm asking you not to even revise C1 to allow these things as was recommended. It's C1 for a reason. I'm asking you to vote no. There are too many unknowns, too much leeway to do what they want. And it's like, well, they could do this or they could do that if we make an exception. No, please don't. I think it will be a negative impact to this area. Can you imagine that 6-foot fence all the way? What an eyesore for that area. There's not anything attractive about that. And I don't think a privacy fence is going to absorb the noise. Maybe some, but definitely not all of it. I just think that we can do something better with that area than to have a concrete pad with a building put on top of it. So I am asking you to please vote no.
Teresa Moreland?
Hi, Teresa Moreland, 501 Shawnee Drive. I know the applicant, I talked to him, he's a great guy. It's not about that. It's about the process, and what is the process? Our planning commission was presented with information, and it seems like there's new information being presented tonight. It was about 3 years ago, we had a property that requested C2 because what they wanted to do was not allowed in C1. This body rejected it because the planning commission said, hey, maybe we need to look at what is this a use that should be in C1? And if it is, let's change our regulations to fit what we want the character to be. The applicant said, you're right, I don't want a liquor store, I don't want a bar to go on my property. I just wanted to put up a dog salon, but that wasn't allowed in C1. So the application was denied. The planning commission took it upon themselves, and with the help of the city, to add that as a use, because as we grow, we want to maintain the character of our neighborhoods, and sometimes, like I said, when that document was first adopted in 2018, yeah, there's things we didn't know. If we feel like, as a governing body, that maybe we should reconsider whether drive-throughs are allowed in C1 and make it a conditional use and look at each one for what that property owner is, then let's do that. But to say, we're gonna take C2 and then we're gonna put conditions to make it C1 on a C2, then what does that say about our zoning regulations? It says they're not meeting our needs. We need our zoning regulations to meet our needs and to make sure that what happens when we move forward is what we want. Make sure that it has what's allowed and what's conditional. Because when we're putting these conditions on what is in C2, that's not what our zoning regulations say either. They don't say this is conditional or not allowed in C2. So when we say we're doing C2, we need to abide by what C2 says. We have charts upon charts in that book about what's allowed and what's not allowed. Let's respect that document. And if we need to change things, we've done it before. I can think of, you guys were on the council when we found the issue with the R1A, 0 lot line. And there was a contradiction between what was in the printed part and what was in the chart. We didn't just say, hey, no, we said, let's make sure that it's buttoned down, because that is a living document that needs to be changed. I'm asking that we do this the right way. If this is the proper use for that lot, then let's just do it right. Let's get the C1. If C1 is what he wants, the uses for, then let's change how we look at it, but not allow C2 just because that one little caveat is the only way we can make it. We have the responsibility, and as it's been pointed out, we had a liquor store that requested a conditional use, and we denied it because it didn't fit the character of the neighborhood. So let's look at what's gonna fit the character of the neighborhood and make sure that we are honoring that in our zoning regulations. Thank you.
Nope. Mine's up there. It has it on my paper up there that I wanted to speak on this zone. I'll find it. Not a problem.
I wrote both on mine.
That's fine. He's gotta find it. That's fine. So I'm assuming, Joni, you were first and then.
Oh, it doesn't
matter, so whoever wants to come up first.
I wrote the ordinance number on there for this case.
So Joni, should
Yeah. Well,
he'll find it.
okay.
Yeah, I got Johnny's and then Karen Anderson and Eddie Washington.
Eddie, do you wanna restate? You don't wanna restate? Okay. Then I'll talk to him.
And 3 copies for the table. Jenny Harris, 109 West Chippewa Street. Per the City of Kechi website, the Arts and Business District began in 2015. And the residents expressed their desire to have a vibrant arts and business district. In 2017, Kechi was awarded a WAMPO Walkable Places grant. And as you know, slowly, we finally got to the intersection project this year. Much time and effort was invested to create the Arts and Business District in working with PEC and this community, and the community widely supported the Arts and Business District being created. I printed the copy of the C1 zoning regulations for your personal review. The C1 definition is, it is the intent of this district to preserve the integrity of existing neighborhoods while providing opportunities within Kechi's core area for a vibrant mix of housing, arts-based businesses, and compatible commercial land uses developed at a walkable scale and density. C2 definition, which is what the applicant's requesting, is the intent of that district is to provide for low to moderate intensity commercial uses and businesses generally having a localized market area. The
C1 sheet also includes for you required setbacks, especially when a commercial property is adjacent to a residential property. This project does not meet those minimum guidelines and creates a negative impact on the adjacent property owner. Allowing a drive-through area adjacent to someone's private residence does not seem compatible either. At the October, Dustin just presented this other case tonight, Z 2025-05, rezoning junk in the trunk property, formerly, to R1. One of his very strong points was that it made this property compatible zoning-wise with all the properties that surrounded it. However, when this case has been presented to the Planning Commission, Zoning Administrator Dustin Belton determined there was no issue in a C1 specialty zoned business district to have a property zoned as C2. Consistency in zoning was no longer an issue. This is not an appropriate zoning change for the Arts and Business District as stated in the district's zoning definition to be a mixed-use walkable scale business area. If the City Council should decide to approve the zoning application, you will effectively, in one council decision, destroy the Arts and Business District by establishing a new precedent for property owners to upgrade their zoning and allowing for additional businesses not intended for the specialty district. This governing body chose to deny a conditional use permit for a liquor store within the Arts and Business District. If you approve this change tonight, that owner may use this decision to apply for a rezone of his property to C2, citing this very case. And his business would then be allowed outright if he was granted a rezone. When owners purchase property within this specialty business district, hopefully they are aware of the zoning regulations and are willing to work within them. I'm seeking your denial tonight to clearly indicate that the zoning for this district is only C1 and for you to tell the people of Kechi that you are working to preserve the designated Arts and Business District for our town. Thank you.
Karen Anderson.
I'm Karen Anderson. I live at 300 East Kechi Road, which is just, 3 blocks from this property. 300 East Kechi Road is the property north of the bar. I've experienced over the past 4 years of the bar opening a bucket full of issues with having a business with clientele coming and going until 11 o'clock at night. The applicant here is very vague about what's going to happen, who knows who's going to rent, so on and so forth. Having a business that is going to, as mentioned before, putting a round peg on a square piece of property does not fit. I can't stress enough for you to have empathy for the surrounding residential property owners. A 6-foot fence will not do a thing for them. Speaking from experience with my 8-foot fence, it does do a little bit for noise, not enough for as close as the proximity to those 2 particular houses are, to that property line, to that traffic that is going to impact those residents dramatically, speaking from experience. I would agree with everything that was said here tonight, as it needs to remain C1 for the overall aspect of the Art and Business District remaining to be what it is. It needs to be a big consideration, even though this is someday should be some kind of a business, that the impact of the property values of those adjacent properties is truly affected. And you are the ones that are making that decision for or against those that voted to put you here in office and your current residents. So thank you very much.
And Betty Washington?
I'm not going back there.
Thank you, Betty. Okay. All right. We will now.
I'll go.
Okay.
Patrick Matson, 6101 East 69th. I represent the Hazel Regine Matson Trust, which owns the vacant lot to the west. I can't add any more. I think what Kenny and Mary and Howdy Shells are just spot on. So please do the right thing and keep this C1. Thank you.
Okay. We will now close public input for the evening and move over to recommendations. Again, council approve, or agree, disagree, or comments, or both. So recommendation 1, character of the immediate neighborhood. No? Do you agree, disagree? No? Is that what it says? Yeah, keeper, character of the neighborhood. So agree, disagree, no? Comment. We're gonna do it together, or you can go in whatever order you want.
We'll have discussion at the end.
I was just gonna do each recommendation, and you can have discussion on each.
Yeah, you can have discussion during or at the end.
Yeah, whenever you want.
Okay, as long
I'm
as
just
there's
giving you the
discussion.
opportunity on each recommendation to talk about it. So. Again, character or
Agree.
character of immediate. Disagree. Okay. Any further comments on that one? Or do you want to wait till the end for comments? I know.
You can go ahead and, so, you should go ahead and discuss, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather go ahead and discuss it before we go through each one.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So I would disagree if we go with what the planning commission came up with at C2, then I would disagree with that. If all of the conditions of C1 can be put on this, with the change to C2, minus the drive-through, because that to me is the issue. 95% of the concerns we heard tonight are already allowed in C1. If he wanted to do a business without this size business without a drive-through, all of that is already allowed. So am I missing something that it's really just the drive-through which is forcing this whole thing?
I think that's one of the main issues.
I think they've also requested the allowance of limited restaurant. So that would be, I think that the two things the applicant has requested is look to override the planning commission's recommendation of denial would be to go ahead and restrict it, as you point out, but they'd like the drive-through permitted and limited service restaurant, I think is the term we go. Which is
outside of C1.
is permitted under conditional use in C1, but is regular allowed use in C2.
Right.
And that's like you walk up to the counter kind of restaurant.
So in C1, it's conditional limited service restaurant.
It would be a conditional use, they'd have to come apply to have one of those there.
Okay. But it is not allowed to have drive-through in C1.
Correct.
Correct, okay.
I don't see a need to change anything. I say the intent of that property was C1. And I think we should stick with it. I don't think we need to make any adjustments because we're setting precedent there. That's my opinion. If we start now, where does it stop?
The concerns that were expressed about the previous liquor store decision. If the regulations of C1 are put on this lot, then that becomes a conditional approval that would have to come before us again to be approved if somebody wanted to put a liquor store in. Is there
I would have to
any
look
legal-
up liquor stores specifically, but in general, yeah, I mean, the idea would be any use that's not permitted in a C1, if it's permitted as conditional use, then they'd have to come apply for it. If it's not otherwise permitted, it wouldn't be permitted.
It's allowed
Those two
it's allowed automatically in C2, but it's conditional for C1.
There you go, then, yes, and they'd have to come ask for a conditional use.
So,
That would be the
so
intent
that
to
would
do it
not
that way.
automatically be approving
Correct.
a liquor store. They couldn't go in without coming
Right.
to us. So legal concerns on that we denied one.
But
We're essentially denying it now.
every zoning case is independent.
Do you guys wanna go through them?
You don't have to, continue your
Okay.
discussions, please.
Anybody else?
So, Paul, I completely respect your opinion. I'm leaning toward, would we not send this back to the planning commission with what we found out today? That C2, if you switch to C2, then you can put all the conditions minus the drive-through and the other one. All those conditions can be applied with that approval.
By
So-
sending it back to the planning commission. You should send it back to them with that
Right,
direct.
I feel like the planning commission didn't have this information or have that option.
One option is to send it back to the planning commission for further consideration, some direction of what you'd like them to consider. That is an option you have.
Can we specify that to the planning commission?
You required to. If you send it back, then you have to tell me what you want them to do.
What's the broad freedom that they have?
Huh?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I was just saying, if you send it back to the planning commission, you have to give them what you want them to reconsider.
Okay, but my question is, we have to give them, I mean, if we go beyond that, or is it limited to just what we send them, I guess?
No, they could consider anything all over
Okay,
again.
okay.
And
That's
they
what I was
could, and
trying
then
to
they
say.
could make any decision they want. They could send back the same recommendation, they could send it back a different one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Sorry to mess it.
No.
I think it's in that one, at least in there.
Would you recommend
So-
going through all of the recommendations first and then?
You don't have to go through, you've had enough discussion.
I just wanna make sure.
In the motion.
Yeah. Let me get there. Okay. Assuming all necessary information has been received, council has three options. Adopt the planning commission's recommendation of denial, override the planning commission's recommendation of a denial with a 2/3 majority vote of the governing body membership, which is 4 votes. Return the case to the planning commission for further consideration, along with a statement reporting the basis of our failure to approve or deny. I would entertain a motion from somebody who wants to.
I'll let you touch that.
All right, I move that we send I don't have it in front of me, that this case back to the. I move we send ordinance 1863-25 back to the planning commission with the instruction to evaluate changing to C2 with all the conditions of C1 minus the drive-through and the
Limited service restaurant?
limited service restaurant.
So I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion to return to the planning commission's recommendation has been made by Councilmember Hedstrom and seconded by Councilmember Brewer. Please, do I have to say all of what they just said?
No.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
It carries 3-2. Can that override planning commission? Or-
That's not an override.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that we're.
Simple majority. Yeah, but
Did you aye?
No, I was saying,
Oh.
I couldn't hear you.
Okay.
do you,
All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Okay, so then it's 3-2.
You don't
I'm
want to send it
wanting
back.
to send it back.
okay,
Yeah, then you want to say yay.
let's do it by roll.
Okay.
For everybody
Okay.
here, I'm deaf in my right ear, have a brain tumor too.
We're gonna do
I
roll
can't
call
hear.
vote.
That's why I keep
Could
saying
you
aye.
call the roll call vote?
Matt Brewer?
I am saying send it back to the planning commission.
Okay, aye. Yes.
Yes. Todd Hudson?
Okay,
Kendra Baldridge.
Yay.
Karen Wiederstein.
Yay.
Paul Mark.
No.
Carries 4-1. It is, case number Z 2025-07 will be returned to the planning commission for reconsideration. The item will be scheduled for the next regular planning commission meeting, to be held in what date is that? So, it's not 11/11.
At the next meeting,
At the next
December.
regular planning commission.
yeah.
Okay, next regular. Alright, and then we'll move on to the next.
You ready?
Yeah.
Mayor, Council, the next item before you is the revised employee pay plan. As noted in the agenda summary, back in 2018, the city hired a consulting firm to come in and do a pay study for the city, and we spent about $11,500 to do that. They developed a pay plan similar to what's presented to you tonight. They use really all the same information that we use. I'll go back a little bit. About 18 months ago, we had this discussion here in this council room about reviewing our pay plan, and Mr. Brewer, I believe you recommended at the conclusion of that discussion that we do it internally rather than spending an additional $10,000 to $11,000 in paying a consultant to come in and do a pay study. So staff over the last 18 months has taken it upon themselves to gather the data together. We have had internal discussions. Department heads have reviewed that data. They've done their own research, and we have developed the pay plan that's presented in front of you tonight. I will note that as part of this process, one thing that we wanted to do was review all the compensation that's associated with our pay plan. So there have been some changes to this which provide a cost savings to the city. One of the most notable that we did talk about during the budget process last year and this year is rather than each year the city council approves a cost of living increase for each year the city council approves a cost of living increase for city employees. We have historically done that based off the consumer price index, okay? The consumer price index measures inflation. It's usually released by the federal government in about February, and it's volatile. It moves up and down, so it makes it very hard for us to budget because we don't know what target we're trying to hit. So we historically have budgeted high in salaries, so we can account for any of those variables. What we had agreed to do this past year is flatten that rate to 2.5%, that cost of living to 2.5%. That's very similar to what a lot of our peer cities do. And if you look at the average of the consumer price index, that's about where it sits. It's about 2.5 or 3% right in there. So we based our pay scale off 2.5% increments for the cost of living, and then each year when an employee gets a performance review, if it's a positive performance review, they can receive a 2.5% merit increase as well, which if they receive the cost of living and the merit increase equals 5%, okay? So in developing this, we kept that flat. That helps us budget for the future. It's a static figure that we can figure on every year. We know that an employee is going to get, unless they promote to another position or further their education, it's going to be roughly 5%. So it gives us a very good figure to budget on there, and there's no variables. The other thing we did at the recommendation of the police department is we eliminated the $10,000 sign-on bonus for new employees. It worked really well for the city at one point, but Chief said it just isn't that effective anymore, which is kind of surprising that people don't even blink at $10,000 anymore. So because it's not effective in recruiting, which it was originally intended for, we have decided to eliminate that. That savings is about $30,000 a year given our current hiring practices. The other major change we made or are going to recommend is reclassifying our key positions, in short, the number twos. Okay, so right now our city clerk and our city treasurer are not number two positions, but they are hourly positions. They have a lot of extra duties, such as this meeting here, planning commission, other duties outside of their normal work hours that they incur overtime with. Our recommendation is we move those positions to an exempt position or a salaried position. In addition to that, the number twos of the Public Works Department being the Public Works Director, and the number two in the Police Department being the Police Lieutenant / Deputy Chief role. So by doing that, we ran numbers this year, and as of October, we had spent roughly $17,000 in overtime for just those three positions. So by making those exempt or salaried positions, we will save approximately $19,000 per year in overtime paid to those positions. Okay? So with those savings, at the end of the day, when it all washes out, our annual impact to our budget is roughly $6,500. Okay? As you can see in the agenda item there, I outlined our transition plan, how to get employees from the old plan onto the new plan, but moving to this new plan is going to help avoid what we're looking at right now, and that is this big payout, I guess you could say, to get everybody caught up to where they need to be. When a pay plan for a city does not adjust in small increments each year to account for the cost of living, when you don't adjust that for 5, 6, 7 years, then you're playing catch up and you're writing, big checks and increasing your budget. So this pay plan will really help us maintain our budget, maintain expenses, make it easy to track, and save us money at the end of the day. And most of all, I guess it's very competitive with our peers, and helps with recruiting efforts and making sure we're competitive with our peer cities. Now, the one thing that this does not compare us to is Wichita and Sedgwick County, Kansas Cities, Olathes, big towns like that. We simply cannot compare to them. We do not have the tax base to support those types of salaries. If an employee wants that higher salary with that bigger department, then it's their choice to make that decision to go there. But with what we have now and what we're presenting, we are very competitive with our peer agencies, the other cities around us, the cities in this market, in this region. I'll answer any questions if you have.
Council, any discussion?
I know there's a lot of work gone into this. I appreciate that. It's been input of all staff to contribute to this. And at one time, the $10,000 signing bonus was the time when our police department was depleted. We didn't have anybody. We were trying to get officers. And now it seems like Chief Moore is getting good candidates whenever we have positions open. So just a little bit of history there. So doing away with that, I think, is really prudent. Then also, it's so hard to budget when there's overtime, that it's a variable. You don't know how to budget for overtime. So this allows us to do consistent budgeting with cost of living increase that is not impacted by inflation and other things. It's consistent with our budgeting. Just a little bit of history there for everyone as to why we wanted to be consistent in that, which you said, but I just want to reaffirm.
I agree, this is very business-centric. It's more in line with every business that I've ever been associated with, and it makes things more predictable and much easier to budget.
It does, yeah. And you're right, Mr. Brewer, it did take a long time, but it took us about 18 months to do it, but we saved about $12,000 for the city doing that internally.
And again, I know it did take a long time, but this is exactly what we asked you to do when we went through those years with the hyperinflation. That was very difficult to deal with from a budgeting standpoint. So having this predictable and knowing what it's going to be every year is going to help.
to you and staff for all the efforts. I know it took a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of math.
Truly a
And I
team effort.
appreciate, the time spent on it.
Thank you.
Well, if there's no further discussion, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the updated city pay plan.
Second.
I have a motion by Paul, second by Matt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. All right, moving on to item 7I, amending ordinance 1864-24. Administration. I'm assuming this is you,
All right, ordinance 1864-25 already generated a lot of discussion tonight. So as you know, the city council, one of its primary functions is to legislate the laws that govern the city, and that includes those that govern how the city itself functions. You know that from time to time, we make changes to the city code in order to update it, keep it up to date, eliminate inconsistencies and those kinds of things. It has become clear over the past several years, as we've noticed, that a couple of decades ago, when the city administrator position was created here, that was placed into the city code. But it's clear that several other sections that pre-existed it were not adjusted to accommodate for that. And so we have a city administrator provision that sets out, creates the office itself, lays out all of the duties and responsibilities of the administrator, but then we've got references to those same responsibilities in other places. We've got overlaps. We have inconsistencies where if you were to simply look at the code, you couldn't figure out who was responsible for what. And so we did go through a process of trying to identify those and clean them up so that we had a consistent list of here's what this function is and here's what this function is. And really that's what all this ordinance is intended to do, is to clean those items up. It really just makes the code, frankly, match the way the city is currently functioning, and is consistent with the way cities of this size and complexity are functioning across the state, at least in my experience. So happy to answer any questions you might have about it.
Would you explain, there's a large audience here tonight with varied opinions. Excuse me. And I want to make sure the information is correct, but can you give a high-level explanation as to the key changes in this?
Certainly. I mean, the key changes are essentially, as I pointed out, we've got a city administrator article that says the city administrator is responsible for running the day-to-day operations of the city, responsible for supervising the employees of the city. And then we had from the past places where, in other places in the code where it says the mayor was supposed to do that, or that administrative functions fell to the mayor instead of falling to the city administrator. And so we were simply trying to make sure that we did not have inconsistent provisions there.
Can you go into specifics about the change in the ordinance as it relates to suspending employees?
Certainly. So I believe the power to hire, fire, and suspend employees, the vast majority of employees, has rested with the city administrator for a number of years. There is a power for the mayor to suspend officers, which is within the state law, but it's also in our code. That would be me, city administrator, I suppose anyone else who's an appointed officer, and that still remains with the mayor. And
What's the difference between the previous ordinance and this ordinance as it relates to suspending?
suspending. So it still says that the mayor may suspend those officers, but only for a period until the next city council meeting.
Whereas the way it's currently written,
It is undefined what suspension means.
so they could suspend them indefinitely.
I wouldn't know the answer to that
It's
question.
suspended
It was
without
placed to me based on what it currently says.
Yeah. So the intent of that is that the mayor still has the authority to suspend them until the next city council meeting.
Right.
Because the city council hires and fires those individuals.
The city council hires, the mayor appoints with the consent of the city council, and those positions consider that, frankly. I would say that it was
It's
more of
just
a,
defining.
right, it's a clarification, because the way it was written was unclear to me. As Mr. Brewer pointed out, if someone asked me, what does that mean, suspend, how long, I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
So technically, even now, if, because I've appointed or like designated like you as the attorney, the person could still suspend you. So that also applies to our treasurer and all of the other ones that we appoint.
Appointed officials.
Yeah,
Officials.
so
Correct. City attorney, myself, public works director, police chief, city treasurer,
So
clerk,
that really
city
hits
clerk,
like every single
Yes.
department anyway.
the judge.
So pretty much, let's be very clear. Every single employee has pretty much some sort of officer appointed, pretty much.
I would not say
Except
that.
for a couple of police officers.
Yeah, I
Because
haven't gone
Debbie
through
is,
the list, but I would suggest most of them are
Yeah.
normal employees.
yeah.
Or just for reference, department heads are usually those employees that the mayor could suspend, and the council hires and terminates those employees, those department heads. That is one of your requirements, is to hire or terminate if the case presents itself, those employees. All other employees fall under the city administrator for daily functions and operations of the city. So the city administrator, who I designate that authority to the department heads, the police chief and the public works director, to hire their own people.
Other questions, Catherine? I would entertain a motion.
I'm gonna be completely transparent.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think we owe it
Yeah,
to
to
everybody.
everybody that's come here tonight. So during the election, one of the things that Mrs. Harris talked about was that when she was elected, that she was going to fire the city administrator and fire the police chief.
That's not true.
That is not true.
Okay. We can't.
And so to safeguard the fact that what that has created, and not only fire the city administrator, the police chief, but staff. And what that has created is somewhat of a hostile work environment for our employees, where they feel scared, threatened, and not knowing whether or not they're gonna have a job. And this is
You are
come from-
creating.
You cannot,
Yes, we
gallery
can.
cannot talk at this moment. Council is talking and deliberating. We need to respect that time. We did give you the 5 minutes to be able to talk in public forum. It is our time to speak. Thank you.
And so as that has occurred during the election process, you can say anything you want about an elected official, okay?
Where's
Mrs.
your
Harris
proof?
Mrs. Harris has
Again.
accused me of being corrupt, and she can say that all she wants. But I have built my career on character and integrity, and so I can't do anything about that. But our employees are not elected officials; they are hired employees. And so then we have the risk of liability and slander towards them. So not much is changing to this except for the fact that the new mayor cannot come in and just fire the city administrator or the police chief or any other staff person. That has to, she can suspend them.
There's no power.
But she can't suspend them indefinitely or without pay, but she can suspend them until it comes back to the council.
Proof.
And this is a
Proof.
concern.
Okay.
This is a
Now, hold on.
concern. I'm
I'm
sorry.
again going to ask the gallery to please stop. If we can't, I will ask the council for a recess until the gallery can get it under control.
This is a concern that not only has been brought to me, but I would ask the other council members if it's been brought to them as well. But I know that this attack was made on our city administrator. I even received an email from Mrs. Harris yesterday, somewhat of an intimidating email, that she was overwhelmingly elected, and that she hoped that I would come alongside her and work with her. And it's creating a concern where I'm afraid we're gonna have a mass exodus of employees, and nobody's gonna be here to turn their gas on and to turn their water on. And so we just need to make sure that we govern. This is not CNN, this is not Fox News, okay? This is a nonpartisan. We're not Democrat, we're not Republican. As a city government, we are nonpartisan. Us council members make $125 a month to do this. This is a volunteer because we want to serve the city. This is not like we're making money doing this. We are serving the city. So when staff is concerned about losing their job, we have a responsibility to protect our employees. We want to work with Mrs. Harris, and we hope, I've always hoped that I could work with her, but she hasn't demonstrated that to me in any way. So I probably said enough, but these safeguards are only to limit a mass exodus of employees. And it was something that we've been talking about for some time. It was not a last minute thing.
And I would echo those.
Absolutely.
You mentioned
Again,
that
gallery.
I'm not as eloquent, but you mentioned earlier that we don't return your emails or anything else, and that's true. And the reason for that is because whenever we have all tried to engage with you in a positive manner and had our words twisted into something that it was not. And I'd be happy to show you the examples when I quit interacting with you, because I will not engage with someone who twists my words and misrepresents what I say, and that is the reason. I answer every inquiry, email, anything from other citizens. I do read your emails, and I've told you that I take them into consideration, you as a citizen, but every time I've tried to engage, not every time, a lot of times when I've engaged, you have twisted what I've said, and that's why I stopped. And I need everybody to know that. The letter you sent City Administrator Jensby was aggressive and very much so. You said it was troublesome and everybody needed to, basically, is my way or the highway for everybody but Thomas, is what your letter said. Yeah, yes.
I
And we all
believe the
got it.
perfect words were, he can decide his professional future at the end of the letter.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually receive the letter.
Well, obviously it got shared with you.
I'm reading directly from the email. There's been a troublesome environment that exists at City Hall for the past 2 years. And I would tell you that our city administrator, who's the former police chief in Mays, he was police chief for 19 years in Mays. And I've been on council 6 years, and we had a time where we didn't even have but one officer, maybe two. And we've been through some troublesome years prior to Mr. Jensby. And this is the best staff with Mr. Jensby, Chief Moore, and Thomas that I've seen in my 6 years on council.
Absolutely.
And all we're trying to do is protect our employees, make sure that this is not a hostile work environment for them, and protect the liability of the city. Because
I have asked the gallery multiple times, Council, I'm going to ask for a 5-minute recess. Okay, continue.
Letter.
Okay.
the reason I will be voting for this ordinance is because my fear is that with, you have not even been sworn in, and you have already created a hostile work environment for these people. You publicly chastised an employee on Facebook, and you sent it to us.
Absolutely.
That should have been addressed
Not
privately. Those matters should be addressed privately with personnel. And everything you've demonstrated has been right in line with that. And that's what I have a problem with. My fear is, and the reason I will vote for this is partly because I am worried about a mass, if everybody quits, we are going to be in a serious crisis in this town. So I want to do this. Let's see if we can find a way to work together and protect the resources we have. Because, as Matt said, this is a great team who is doing a lot of good work. And I want that to continue. We've done a lot of good things. I know not everybody agrees with the decisions we always make. I get that. But we've done a lot of good things, and risking that, and the feeling of the staff right now is that it's just a matter of time. And that's unfortunate.
And I would encourage other council members to speak.
I've also received the same harassing emails and threatening emails. I just no longer wish to respond to them, because it hasn't done any good. And like they've both said, like, I think this is going to protect us and what has been built here in the last couple of years, that we very much appreciate.
I think to imply that our intentions are anything other than honorable is frankly insulting. I received the email as well. I've received others, and I've seen and watched what has happened. And it's not true. None of it. It's half-truths. Twisted words. Take that as you will, but this change is consistent with the setup that we have here at Kechi. It is not any different. The definition of one's position is needed. We can't have two heads running the same place. It needs to be defined. That's all this does. It doesn't take anything away from the mayor.
Yes, it does.
The council still has the right to say no or to say yes. A case just needs to be made. And I think if you're going to hire or terminate anyone, it needs to be a consensus.
Yeah, then I think we're done, seeing, are you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, the almost 2 years that I have been on the council have been amazing. I will say that City Administrator Ginsby has been nothing but helpful. He has answered all my questions, has always been responsive, has been very kind. He always puts his staff first. He is very complimentary of every single one of them. Andrew, you've been amazing, a resource for all of us. I think we have an outstanding group of people working for the city. I really, really do, and I'm very proud of them. I'm very sad that I did not get reelected and that I cannot continue on, but I fully trust this council to do the right things.
and I'd like to say one more thing. So, with that said, and all of you came here tonight, with all that said, each one of us have expressed how we have felt, and staff has expressed to us how they feel. And because they feel that way, those are real emotions for them. And so we are doing our best to safeguard their jobs and to safeguard the city. Yeah. But I want to go forward by saying this to Mrs. Harris, and that is, you were elected mayor, and I congratulate you on that. You worked really hard. You went out and knocked on a lot of doors and met a lot of people. And the energy that you put into things, I'm amazed at the energy that you put into things. And it's my intent, and I'm only speaking for myself, to respect your position as mayor. You've been duly elected as mayor. You will be sworn in at our next meeting, and I will respect that position. And I also want you to know that I'm going to respect you and the role that you play with our city. And I would hope that you would get to know each one of us as council members, and that you would spend time getting to know our staff in a way that you really know them and you know their intent. This, I know, separation of church and state and government, but when I talk to Matt Ginsby sometimes, I come up here and his Bible's open on his desk and he's praying for the city. I respect that. I respect his faith. I respect his commitment to our community. I respect the fact that he cares about his people enough to do that. With that said, I would encourage you to listen to the council. Listen to our experience. Many of us have I've spent 6 years on this council. I have a lot of knowledge, and if I don't have the information, I go back to previous council members and say, give me the history. But all that to say is I want you to know that at the December meeting, I don't know, date 13? 11? Okay. That when I intend to respect you, respect your position, and I would ask that you get to know everyone, and that you listen with the intent to hear us and to hear what our experience has been. That's all I have to say.
Madam Mayor, may I address a direct attack that was put on me?
Seriously?
Okay.
Wow.
No.
Whoa.
Okay.
You guys
Thank you.
are supposed to be representing the people, and you are not.
You didn't listen to us at all tonight.
No. Nope.
Wow.
I would entertain a motion.
Well, I just want to clarify. All this ordinance really does is it defines roles and responsibilities, and primarily the one that the mayor cannot suspend someone indefinitely or without pay. The mayor still is empowered to suspend. If she chose to suspend the city administrator, she could. But then that comes back to the next council meeting, and that's not suspension without pay or suspension indefinitely, correct? Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding really what we're talking about here tonight.
I'd like to clarify the accusation.
No.
Why not?
Why not? I'm saying no. You already got your public forum. We've closed public forum. We are not calling a public forum for this
But she
agenda
was
item.
attacked.
She was personally.
I am not calling a public forum for this agenda item. The council has
So
spoken.
disrespectful.
The council has spoken.
I
We have
can't-
not given public forum for this item.
People, so I'm an elected official, I'm supposed to listen to the people. And when I have residents come and tell me that you have spoken, and I try to make things right here by telling them I'm going to respect you and respect your position. And I purposely intend to do that. But when I have people come and tell me those things, and then when the city administrator calls me as a council member and says that he has staff that's upset and worried and concerned, then there's validity to what you may say that you haven't said those things, but people have come to me, told me those things. It's gotten back to staff. Staff is upset, and I have to deal with the information that I get. That's all the information I have, is what I've been told.
You shared misinformation, though.
Again, I have said there is no public forum.
It's not misinformation when.
I can't fire anyone as a
About,
mayor.
again, there is no public forum.
You can't fire anyone.
No, you
No.
said I would.
No.
I can't do that. There's no power in the mayor to fire people.
Yeah, no, you can't. I'm sorry if I misspoke and said that. My intent was to say that people are concerned that they're going to get fired. Now, those are legitimate
That's your
concerns.
job.
So, yes, you can't fire anyone, you can suspend someone, but when staff comes with concerns that they're going to get fired, that's the language that they use. We know that you can't do that, but that's their fear. And so we're expressing those concerns tonight. And I'm really
Again, I would
concerned.
ask for a recommendation.
Yeah, I'm really concerned, Mrs. Harris, and I know you can't respond at this moment, but I really want to work with you.
She can.
And I
I,
intend to
again, would ask the council for a vote.
respect her, but I'm just sharing what's been shared with me.
I would
Which is what
entertain-
everyone else did here tonight.
Come on, guys.
I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve ordinance 1864-25 and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second. I have a motion by Todd, second by Karen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. I believe we've been going for a little over an hour and almost 45 minutes. I feel like council and residents need a break, so let's get a 10-minute break. Council, I entertain a motion for a recess until 9:49. Well, ma'am, please, no, do not approach the bench. We are still in session. I would entertain a motion for a recess for 10 minutes.
I'm not gonna recess. I totally lost my total
Do I
respect
have
for
a
this
second?
entire group.
I have a motion by Karen, second by Kendra. All in favor, say aye. We are in recess.
I know it.
They do.
Yeah.
You based it on high.
There is no proof of any of that.
And to accuse somebody of something and not even giving them an
And yes,
opportunity to respond,
That is harassment.
Well, Bon, aren't you lucky you still have to be on the... Oh, you're, I can't believe, oh, that wasn't you on there, I thought it was the other guy. Oh, my gosh. Sorry.
Be surprised.
I don't be here for a stupid vote.
I don't like that they lie for the bench and I can't respond. The mayor cannot fire someone.
I will do that. All right, see ya. I don't know if I've ever been in a room full of people and felt so disrespected in all my life. And this is,
Directly attacked, you should be able to respond.
this is not the first time that I've felt directly disrespected from our current mayor.
Oh, I'm sure.
In public, in this room.
Yep.
So,
Debacle.
I'm glad they're scared of you. They should be. It shouldn't be status quo. They should be.
There should be a little bit of, maybe do your job a little better.
No kidding.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
think?
yeah.
it still?
Yeah, in my pocket, if we just like you want it. Oh, yeah. What's her name?
Just to save anyone embarrassment if they had full-on conversations next to that everyone just heard on Facebook.
No, he turned it off.
Maybe she said it was still going, so.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I thought he turned it off. So.
Yeah.
I didn't know, to be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, I don't, that's what somebody had just said, so I was trying to check it for you, because I don't wanna. Yeah, right, it could be his, it's still going. I just wanna make sure that no one got caught having a conversation they didn't wanna have heard by everybody else.
What I had to say. What's that?
Did you have on Facebook?
Okay.
Yes, I can.
You have playing on Facebook Live, aren't you?
Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
It's on. Absolutely.
Oh, I turned the mute. He was afraid he had to turn it on.
Sometimes I don't turn the mute on that one.
Just well, they don't care.
It's just rules.
I already took it. No, I had something to say to somebody.
No, I was.
Oh, I thought you were trying to.
How many pages, can you make a page?
Good question, we're gonna find out, huh?
Back.
But I still, like, and I never thought, I hated you and I never once thought you were gonna fire me. Never.
There's no house.
You can't, you can't.
I'm very aware.
I know you are. It's all their decision. Because a long time ago, Teresa told me a long time ago, oh, because we were joking about being mayor. And she goes, oh, well, if you want to be mayor, she goes, if you want to do something, you ought to actually run for council, not mayor. Because mayor is only title. They can't fire anybody.
You know one thing he said?
I saw that.
He said, they can't all be that though. They
And
didn't
for
do
the
an
whole thing
executive
of, well,
session.
we're just
They did a
cleaning it
recess.
up.
Recess, but
Well,
no.
he just made it really clear from there that he's not just cleaning it up. They
Nope.
did it for a specific reason.
Absolutely.
What am I supposed to tell my kids?
That your city council does not listen to the people that stood up and spoke.
And they just voted for him.
Couple of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, for the record, Chief.
Ma'am?
For the record,
Huh?
my family absolutely loves you.
I love your family. I look
And
forward to it.
we, I don't care who knows it, we voted for her. And I never ever once, and I've talked to both sides, and I never one time got the idea from her that she was gonna fire you.
There's no power
Because
anyway.
if
There's no
I
power.
thought that you were gonna go, or my husband thought that you were gonna go, we would not have made the choice.
One thing I can promise you, ma'am, is that the police department, we're going to continue to do what the police department does. We're
I
gonna
want
protect
you
the
to
city.
stay who you
We're
are.
gonna have a movie in the parks.
That disgust.
We're gonna keep taking care of the police department, so I'll give you that promise.
Can we move the movie and the parks back to the park?
That, I can't make a promise. We'll do that by ear. I will say it was nice having restrooms readily available. That was a plus. But,
Absolutely.
we'll take a look at that. So I'd like to get some other amenities at the park over the winter time if we could do that to make it a little more conducive to those events. Maybe some lights under the canopy there with some restroom access and with the redesign of the park committee and stuff, if some of y'all feel so inclined, maybe some lighting around the playground equipment as well at nighttime would be handy just for patrol purposes and even when the kids go
Well, the
out.
whole park needs additional lighting.
It does. So those things would really bring it.
But we've just been tasked right now with equipment and replacing it. That's
I got you.
our focus right now.
Gotcha. I'm excited to see it.
you're back from recess. Moving on to old business, item 8A, bond ordinance 1865-25, Construction Teaming Group LLC.
In the interest of time, a lot of these I'm going to go through, so I will be brief about it, but feel free to ask whatever questions you like. So 8A, bond ordinance 1865-25, is the industrial revenue bond approval ordinance. About a year ago, or actually about 18 months ago, this council approved resolution of intent and tax abatement for the project out in Venture Court with three commercial buildings built by Construction Teaming Group. They're substantially complete with that, so we need to issue these IRBs before the end of the year to get that wrapped up. This is the final step in this process. If you approve this ordinance, we will get everything finished, and that closing is scheduled for December 3rd. Happy to answer any questions.
Council, questions, comments? Alright, I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve ordinance 1865-25 to issue the city's taxable industrial revenue bond series 2025 Construction Teaming Group LLC for the purpose of purchasing, acquiring, construction, and equipping a 3-building commercial facility in Kechi in an amount not to exceed $1.8 million, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and delivery all related documents and take all necessary actions related thereto.
Second. I have a motion by Todd, second by Karen. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Moving on to bond ordinance 1866-25, AMP Crane / 513 Properties LLC.
This is the same process. This is an industrial revenue bond for AMP Crane and Hoist. Again, you approved the resolution of intent and tax abatement for this actually earlier this year. They're substantially complete. Same process. We need to get those bonds issued before the end of the year. And so that's, happy to answer any questions about that. And the only other thing about these two is, because everybody asked, industrial revenue bonds, the city, this is not a debt of the city, and you're not obligated to pay any kind of principal and interest on these. And all this is a pass-through as a conduit to these borrowers. So.
Questions, council?
No.
I would entertain a motion.
You got the words.
Alright. I move we approve ordinance 1866-25 to issue the city's taxable industrial revenue bond series 2025 AMP Crane and Hoist for the purpose of purchasing, acquiring, construction, and equipping a 3-building commercial facility in Kechi in an amount not to exceed $1.8 million, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and delivery all related documents and take all necessary actions related thereto.
Second.
I have a motion by Todd, second by Paul. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Moving on to item 8C, acceptance of revised Turtle Creek paving petition.
The next several items all relate to the Turtle Creek development, the infrastructure improvements that we have been working on getting approved for there. Those have been petitioned by the landowner. That process is they petition the city for water, sewer, paving, and drainage. We go through the process of getting the bids, hiring a contractor. Those are city improvements, but once that is built and all the costs are known, that all those costs get assessed against the properties as special assessments. And so several of these items are all related to that. But this particular one, 8C, acceptance of Turtle Creek paving petition, we're going to get to in a little bit the bids that came in on the water, sewer, and paving projects from the contractors. The paving contract bid came in significantly higher than the engineer's estimates in the original petition. And so the landowner has submitted a new amended petition with that new amount. And so that's what 8C is. And D, I'll just go ahead and say, is the same thing. It's the developer's agreement that we get from the developer. It's amended and restated solely to increase the amount for those paving improvements as well.
Any questions, council?
No.
I would entertain a motion.
Do you have the words?
I don't think that is.
Just move to accept the Turtle Creek, the amended Turtle Creek paving petition.
I move that we accept the revised Turtle Creek paving
by Matt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries by vote.
Mayor
And
and
then-
council, on these, there were a couple agenda items that, these were kind of last minute items, so we didn't have time to put the agenda item in there, so, Andrew will guide you
I will
through.
guide you through. The
what
next
we
one
approved.
is, as I pointed out, the developers agreement, amending and restating for this additional amount. So we just need a motion to approve the amended and restated developers agreement.
I would entertain that motion. You can say so moved if you can't remember what he said.
All right, let's see, I move that we approve the amended and restated development agreement for, Turtle Creek.
Second. I have a motion by Karen, second by Kendra. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries by vote. Moving on to 8E, approval of resolution number 25-795, amending resolution of advisability Turtle Creek.
One quick correction on this. This one's actually gonna be, the number is 25,794. We haven't switched, we're switching it back. But this is again for the same thing, because the paving improvements bids came in higher, we had to amend the resolution of advisability related to those original petitions. And so that's all this does, is it amends our original resolution to increase that amount. And I'll go ahead and tell you that F is the amended ordinance, 1867-25 is amending the work ordinance from 6 months ago for the exact same reason. So you can take those two up as you see fit.
Any further discussion? I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve resolution 25-794, amending the resolution of advisability and approve,
Take one at a
yeah,
time.
one at a time.
Second.
Oh, sorry. Motion by Todd, second by Karen. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries by vote. Again, I would entertain a motion.
Now I move to approve ordinance 1867-25, amending ordinance for Turtle Creek.
Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion by Matt, second by Todd. All in favor say aye.
No, it's that way around.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you get that, Ben?
Yeah.
Honestly, I second by Matt. Yes, motion by Todd, second by Matt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries by vote. Moving on to item 8G, acceptance of or ratification of bids, Turtle Creek temp notes.
Very good. Now I actually have to look this up. Okay, so in connection with these improvements, the city is going to issue temporary notes to fund the construction. A month ago or so, you passed a note sale resolution authorizing us as your bond counsel and Piper Sandler as the financial advisor to go through that public sale process. We got the bids in, that's what this is. It actually was a pretty good process. You got 5 bids, that was a lot of interest for a $1.2 million temp note, to be honest. The lowest bidder was Northland Securities, Inc., with a true interest cost of 3.369%, which is a pretty decent interest rate, yeah. Again, while these temp notes are debts of the city, the costs and the principal and interest on this will be completely assessed against the property once we get to the final bonding of this, when everything is done. But this item is simply to accept the low bid from Northland Securities, Inc. on the temp notes. You can say exactly that if you want.
I'll make a motion to accept the lowest bid.
Would I entertain that motion? If it makes you feel better.
Oh, you got me, I got you.
Yeah. Second. I have a motion by Matt, second by Kendra. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries by vote. Moving on to 8H, approval of the resolution 25-794, temp notes, Turtle Creek.
This one will be 795, because we
Okay.
swapped those two. But this is the actual resolution to issue these temporary notes. Again, this is the last part of this financing, the last step for this financing for the council, scheduled to close on December 5th. And so if you pass this resolution, we will sell these notes to Northland Securities. They'll turn around and mark them up and sell them on the market. You will get $1.145 million, which is what you need to finance all of these projects for Turtle Creek. And then pretty soon, we're going to look at the construction bids, and the city will get started on construction.
move we approve resolution 25-795, temp notes for Turtle Creek.
Again, we entertain that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Todd, second by Matt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Moving on to 8J, or, yeah, I'm on, or I, sorry, I, there's a lot on this one. Approval / acceptance of Turtle Creek construction bids.
And I'm gonna look for this in front of me, but basically this is accepting the low bids on those construction projects, which, I don't remember, was it Pearson?
Pearson
Is this
was
the 1 million?
was the low bid, thank you, yes.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Pearson was the low bid. There were 5 bidders on this project, I believe.
1,012,960. Am I reading that right?
Pearson Construction in the amount of $1,012,963,000. And as you will see, all the bids are attached there for you to review. We of course take the low bid. We are confident with Pearson Construction. They do a lot of work for the city and provide us good service, so we have no issues there.
Any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept low bid from Pearson Construction in the amount of $1,012,963 and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
I have a motion by Matt, second by Todd. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Moving on to now 8J, approval / acceptance of Turtle Creek construction contract.
This is the same thing, this is just the actual construction contract with Pearson. It's approved.
Any questions, council? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I move that we approve approval acceptance of Turtle Creek construction contract.
Second. I have a motion by Karen, second by Kendra. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Moving on to council reports. I do not have a council report. Does any other council member have a report?
I have a brief one on the park board.
Go ahead.
So we met November 3rd. November 21st is design day, so we will have a consultant come out from Play by Design on the 21st. I think we have a temporary schedule, but the first event will be with Thomas and some of the park board going over to the park to see the site, and then going to the school to get design ideas from the kids, and then some activities in the afternoon with just, melding all that stuff together. And then an open meeting with the committees, and then we'll have the celebration. I can't remember what time it starts. It's like 6:30.
It's like 6 or 6:30, I believe.
Yeah. So it'll be a carnival type atmosphere, and there will be a design reveal. We are also looking for donations for door prizes from businesses and or individuals. So if you are interested in donating, contact Neva Benton or myself. Yeah, she's gone. And also we are looking for coordinators for fundraising and the volunteer committee.
Thank you. Any other council reports? Seeing none. Moving on to staff reports. They come at the last of the month. Anything to add from that?
We don't have anything this week.
Executive session for non-elected personnel. Todd, for 20 minutes.
Madam Mayor, I move we go into executive session. The subject to be discussed during the executive session is non-elected personnel. The justification for closing the meeting is discussion related to non-elected personnel matters, and the time and place at which the open meeting shall resume is 10:23 p.m. in the city council chamber.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Todd, a second by Karen. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 4-0. We are in executive session.
We have lunch.
wanna really process it that way.
As we return to regular meeting, I want to remind everyone that pursuant to Kansas open meeting statutes, no binding action was taken by the city council while in executive session. I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the amended and restated employment agreement with the city administrator.
Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion by Karen, second by Matt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Moving on to adjournment. I would entertain a motion. I make a motion on the adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion by Kendra, second by Karen. All in favor say aye. Aye. Carries 5-0. We are adjourned.
Can't leave.
Well, he could now that you find folks or
Recording it.
Oh, that's great.
It's really 10:30? Is that the right time?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. And you said your wife wasn't gonna miss you?
Huh?
And you said your wife wasn't for a long time.
No, she won't miss me.
She's out of town.
No, she's just over